Hello children. Today we are starting a very interesting branch of chemistry, that is organic chemistry. Although it's very interesting, very easy if we practice it regularly. So your regularity and dedication is must to understand organic chemistry. If I'm saying that everything, most of the things, whatever we are using, as a beautiful collection of organic compounds, I'm not wrong. Because children, whatever you are using, like the plastic materials, medicines, clothes, fertilizers, everything they are made up from organic compound. Even we ourselves, beautiful creature of organic compounds. Skin, DNA, RNA, proteins, all these they contain organic substances. So now what are organic compounds? In 10th standard you must have studied about catenation property and tetravalency of carbon. A very unique feature of carbon is its catenation property. Catenation, do you remember catenation property or no? Catenation simple meaning is self-linking. Carbon has a very unique feature of make covalent bonds with itself. Carbon-carbon covalent bonds are easily formed. Carbon can form a long chain of carbon-carbon covalent bonds. It can be single, double or triple even. Similarly, it can make covalent bonds with hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, phosphorus, halogens. So all these compounds which are formed with carbon or which are linked with carbon through covalent bond, they are studied in organic chemistry. Earlierly, it was believed that the organic substances are only synthesized in living systems. They cannot be synthesized artificially in laboratory. So a theory was given by Berzelius, that was vital force theory. Given by Berzelius. He said that organic substances are synthesized only in living systems through some mysterious forces termed as vital forces. Later on, this theory was proved wrong by Waller by synthesizing first organic compound in laboratory. And that first organic compound synthesized in laboratory was urea. Urea was synthesized by Waller by heating ammonium cyanate, an inorganic compound. Ammonium cyanate on heating rearranges giving urea, NH2CO, NH2. So this was the first organic compound synthesized in laboratory by Waller. So in this way Waller proved this vital force theory wrong. Later on so many compounds, organic compounds were synthesized in laboratory. Shapes of organic compounds, it depends on type of hybridization. Children, if you remember, hybridization topic we studied in Unit 4 in detail. And for carbon compounds, if it is a carbon-carbon single bonded compound, means all sigma bonds are present. Single bond means sigma bond. Remember children, sigma and pi bond, this concept? So, if single bond is present, then the type of hybridization would be sp3 hybridization. If carbon-carbon double bond is present, then it is sp2 hybridization. If carbon-carbon triple bond is present, then it is sp hybridization. Single bond means all sigma bonds. Double bond means one sigma and one pi. Triple bond means one sigma and 2 pi. So we can also see that if all sigma bonds are there, then it is sp3 hybridization. If one pi bond is there, then it is sp2 hybridization. If two pi bonds are there, then it is sp hybridization. And geometry depends on type of hybridization. For sp3 hybridization, the geometry is tetrahedral. sp2 hybridization, this is trigonal planar. And for sp hybridization, it's linear. Then bond angle for tetrahedral, it is 109.5 degree. For trigonal planar, this is 120 degree. And for linear, it is 180 degree. Clear, children? So the geometry of a carbon compound depends on the number of pi bonds. Secondly, type of hybridization also decides the bond length and bond enthalpy. Like if sp3 hybridization means we can say 75% S character. And 75% P character, only 25% S character is present here. And here only S character is only 25%. And in SP, S character is 50% S character is present. So we can say when you move from sp3 to sp, S character increases. Here roughly we can say 33% S character. 33% S character. So more is S character, more is the electron cloud closer to nucleus, more would be the force of attraction, that will decrease the bond length. So on moving from sp3 to sp hybridization, bond length, sp3 to sp bond length decreases because we are moving closer to nucleus. S orbital is more close to nucleus. So when sp3 to sp bond length decreases, means bond becomes stronger and stronger. That's why it becomes difficult to break that bond. So bond enthalpy will increase. Clear, children? On moving from sp3 to sp hybridization, what happens? Bond length in this direction. Bond length decreases. Bond enthalpy increases. So we can say bond becomes stronger. Similarly, more is S character, more is electronegativity of carbon. So we can say sp hybrid carbon is more electronegative. Electronegativity of carbon also increases. More is S character, more would be the electronegativity of carbon. So the conclusion is sp hybrid carbon is most electronegative. So children, all these features are clear? Now children, we are taking some examples to find hybridization. If in this case, we are asked to find type of hybridization of each carbon, as well as we are supposed to calculate number of sigma bonds and number of pi bonds. Both things we can do here. Like check the first carbon, all sigma bonds, sp3 hybridization. Second, one pi bond is present, so sp2 hybridization. Same, sp2 hybridization. This one again sigma bonds, so sp3 hybridization. Two pi bonds, 1 and 2, so sp hybridization. In this way you can decide type of hybridization for each carbon. as well as now if we calculate number of sigma and pi bonds, that number of sigma bonds and then number of pi bonds. Just check children. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Clear? So how many sigma bonds are present? 12 sigma bonds are present. Shall I calculate it again? Just check it. 3 with hydrogen, 4th with carbon, 5th, 6th, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 sigma bonds are there. Now check number of pi bonds. 1, 2 and 3 pi bonds are present in this example. So in this way you can calculate number of sigma as well as number of pi bonds. Take one more example. CH3 twice CO. Question is same. Calculate number of sigma bonds, pi bonds and type of hybridization of each carbon. First you have to open the structure. Write the structure in expanded form. Only then you can calculate all these things. So if we write in expanded form, this carbon is bonded with one oxygen. We know oxygen is divalent. So double bond with oxygen and bonded with two methyl groups. In this way, CH3. Now we can easily tell type of hybridization as well as sigma and pi bonds. So single bonded carbon, sp3 hybridization, double bonded carbon, sp2 hybridization, again single bonded carbon, sp3 hybridization. Now sigma bonds, just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and then pi bonds only 1. Clear children? Sigma bonds 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So in this lecture we are only doing very basic things which already you people have done. So simply a revision of all these topics in terms of organic compounds. Next topic children we are discussing is structural representations of organic compounds. That how do we write the structures of organic compounds. In unit 4 bonding and molecular structure, we discussed about two types of representations of formulas. One was Lewis dot structure. Remember, one was Lewis dot structure, like in case of H2 molecule. The Lewis dot structure was we showed valence electron with the help of a dot. This is second hydrogen, and then we show the bonding between these two hydrogens. How we show? This is the first and then this is the second, right? This is Lewis dot structure. One more way of representation was the dash structure, where with the help of single line we show this sharing of electron pair. Or if two electron pairs are shared, we show double lines. 3 pairs are shared, we use triple line to show single, double and triple bond. So this was the way which were discussed in bonding unit. The first was Lewis dot structure, right? Lewis dot structure. And second was dash structure. But for representation of organic compounds, there are 3 different ways. The first is complete formula. Second one is condensed formula. Third one is bond line formula. So now taking all these 3 one by one. First, complete formula means where we show each bond with the help of dash or line. For example, if I have ethane molecule, ethane, you know the molecular formula of ethane is C2H6. So how do we express its complete formula? Carbon single bond, and each carbon is bonded with 3 hydrogen. So this is the representation of complete formula for ethane. First one complete, second I am writing for condensed, and third I am taking bond line. So this is first way of representation, that is complete formula. Now, how do we write the condensed formula for ethane? In condensed formula, we only show those bonds which are necessary. Other lines we never show. Like here, we may write it as CH3, CH3. We are not showing these bonds. So this is the way to represent a condensed formula. So condensed formula of ethane is CH3, CH3. It's understood that there is a single bond between carbon-carbon and single bond with each hydrogen here. 3 hydrogen with first carbon, 3 with second carbon. So no need to represent these single bonds. Then bond line formula. In bond line formula, we show carbon chain in a zigzag pattern. Carbon chain in a zigzag pattern. Every terminal point is a carbon and every intersection point is a carbon. Like if I am showing this single line, it's understood this is first carbon and this is second carbon, and 3 hydrogen are present with each carbon. So in bond line formula, we don't show carbon as well as hydrogen. But other atoms like oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, halogen, if they are present, then we show those atoms. So let us discuss some more examples to discuss complete condensed and bond line formula. For example, if I take pentane. Children, can you tell me the molecular formula of pentane? Alkanes, CnH2n plus 2. Don't worry, we will be discussing all these things. But I know that you know these things because already done in 10th standard. So molecular formula of pentane is C5H 10 or 12? 12. CnH2n plus 2. So this is which formula? Molecular formula of pentane. Now we have to write these 3 formulas: complete, condensed and bond line. So first, complete formula. Take a chain of 5 carbon, 5 carbon chain. Now show the hydrogen with each carbon. We know carbon is tetravalent. So all leftover valences, they are satisfied by hydrogen. So 3 hydrogen with first carbon, 2 with all intermediate carbons, and with terminal carbon again 3 hydrogen. So this is the complete expanded formula, complete, or this is also termed as expanded structural formula, where we show each and every bond. Then coming to second, that is condensed formula. Now how do we write condensed formula for pentane? That is, just check children, this terminal group is CH3. Right side also terminal group is CH3. Between these two terminal CH3, we will be having 1, 2, 3 CH2 groups. CH2, CH2, CH2. So the way to express it in condensed form, that is shortest possible way, but that express the structure of that compound also. So that is CH3, first this terminal CH3, in between 3 CH2 groups. So CH2 thrice and then again terminal CH3. This is the condensed formula of pentane. Now the third is its bond line formula. As I told you, in bond line formula, we use a zigzag chain of carbon atoms. So take a chain of 5 carbon atoms. Children, just count how many carbon are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more is required. So this is 5th one. Means every terminal point is carbon as well as all joining points are also carbon. So this is, just check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is also pentane. So in bond line formula, we don't show carbon as well as hydrogen. It's understood that every position the required number of hydrogen atoms are present as well as terminal and joining point is a carbon. So these are the 3 ways to express bond line formulas of bond line, condensed and complete formulas of organic compounds. Take one more example. I'm taking one structure. Now, we have to write its condensed formula as well as bond line formula. So, to write condensed formula, children, just check. This carbon is bonded with 3 methyl groups. So, we write CH3 thrice C. Then the next group is CH2. We are not showing this bond. Then CO, CH2C. No bond we are showing in between. So this is condensed formula of this particular example. Now we show its bond line formula. To write bond line formula, children, it's better first give numbering to the chain, then it becomes easy for you to write its bond line formula. Okay, so like I'm giving here numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 6 carbon chain. Now take a zigzag chain of 6 carbon and just count the number of carbon atoms. Is it a 6 carbon chain or no? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, children? It's a 6 carbon chain. Now start giving groups to, again here also give number 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now just check on first carbon. Triple bonded nitrogen is there because we know nitrogen is trivalent. So of course between carbon and nitrogen triple bond is present. So on first carbon show triple bonded nitrogen. As I told you, if other than carbon and hydrogen atoms are present, we show those atoms but we will not show carbon and hydrogen. Triple line denotes triple bond, double line means double bond, single line means single bond. So on first position carbon nitrogen triple bond is present. We have expressed that. Now just check second carbon, only 2 hydrogen are there. No need to show those 2 hydrogen. Then check on third carbon, double bonded oxygen is there. Show that double bonded oxygen on third carbon. Fourth, only hydrogen is there. We will not show. Fifth, with fifth carbon, we have 2 methyl groups. So, this is 1 and this is 2. Clear? 1 carbon, again 1 carbon. So, 2 methyl groups on fifth carbon. Then this is 6 carbon. So, this is the way to write bond line formula. And children, this zigzag chain can be in any direction. Like I may express. This is also organic compound. Count the number of carbons in chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon chain. In this 5 carbon chain, first, second, third. If I give numbering 4, 5. On third carbon, we will be having a side chain of 2 carbon as well as another side chain of 2 carbon. Means on third carbon, 2 side chains are present, each carrying 2 carbon atoms. So again, this is also a bond line formula for organic compound. Similarly, cyclic compounds are also shown in terms of bond line structures. Like if I'm giving you this compound, means it's a cyclic compound having 3 carbon. Understood? If we are showing this one, means a cyclic compound having 4 carbon. For mathematics, it is triangle. This is a square. But for organic chemistry, this one is cyclopropane. 3 carbon group is propane. So this is cyclopropane. This is cyclobutane. Understood, children? So these are some examples. Try few more examples. Let us discuss 3D representations of organic molecule. That how do we represent 3D structure of organic molecule in 2D plane? To represent this 3D structure in 2D plane, we use three types of representations of bond. One, normal lines. This normal line indicates the bond lying in the plane of paper. Right? Second type of representation we use a solid wedge. This is solid wedge. And third is a dashed wedge. This is these two they represent the bones projecting out of the plane of paper. Out of the plane of paper. Both solid and dashed wedge, they represent the bones projecting out of the plane of paper. But what is the difference then between the solid wedge and dashed wedge? Solid wedge is that bone projecting out of the plane of paper but towards the observer. Towards the observer. Clear, children? And the dashed wedge is that bone which is not in the plane of paper but projecting out of the plane of paper as well as away from the observer. Away from the. So these are the three ways to represent bones when we show a 3D picture on 2D plane. Now just express the methane molecule in this 3D picture. This is central atom, carbon, two simple bones. Simple bones means lying in the plane of paper. Then two bones, one is solid wedge and the other is a dashed wedge. This is a solid wedge. Right? And the fourth one is a dashed wedge. Clear? So these are the four hydrogen atoms. Now, clear, children? This is 3D representation of molecules, but actually generally we express simply in this way, like this is a simple representation of methane molecule, but you should know the actual picture of representation, that what is the actual way to represent a 3D molecule. Wait. So this is in this way, this is dashed wedge and this one is the solid wedge. So I think now this is clear. These two bones in the plane of paper, these two bones projecting out of the plane of paper, this one away from the observer and this one towards the observer. Right, children? How do we present 3D structure of organic molecules? Classification of organic compounds. The main categories of organic compounds are organic compounds. If we take, they are classified basically into two categories: acyclic and cyclic. Acyclic are also termed as open chain compounds. Open chain compounds. Cyclic, they are also termed as closed chain or ring compounds. Clear, children? Then cyclic compounds further classified into two categories. These are homocyclic and heterocyclic. homocyclic and heterocyclic compounds, right? Homocyclic compounds are further classified into two categories. These two categories of homocyclic compounds are aliphatic cyclic or alicyclic and aromatic compounds. Aromatic compounds are further of two types, benzenoids and non-benzenoids. Now children, we discuss all these compounds. Then what is the meaning of these categories? Now the first type is, I think, absolutely simple, and that is clear to you. Open chain or acyclic compounds means contains straight or branched chain of carbon atoms. Like any example you can take. For example, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is heptane, or side chains can be present. Clear? Naming we will discuss later, right? But simple names you know well. So these types of compounds are open chain compounds or acyclic compounds. These compounds, they can be even saturated or unsaturated, like alkanes, alkenes, alkynes. So these categories can also be discussed in these. Saturated, where carbon-carbon single bond is present, and unsaturated, carbon-carbon double bond or carbon-carbon triple bond are present. All these compounds are classified into acyclic or open chain. Further, they may contain some functional groups like alcohol, carboxylic acid, aldehyde, ketones. So many functional groups are there. For example, ethanol can be considered in this category. CH3, CH2, OH, acetic acid, CH3, COOH. All these are open chain compounds or acyclic compounds. Coming to cyclic or closed, name is suggesting a closed ring of carbon atoms is present. That is considered as cyclic compound. Now here we have two types of cyclic compounds, homocyclic and heterocyclic. Homo means same, hetero means different. So if the ring is only made up of carbon atoms, ring is only made up of carbon atoms, then this is termed as homocyclic or alicyclic homocyclic compound. But if the ring contain other than carbon, any other atom like oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, that is termed as heterocyclic. In heterocyclic also we have these two categories, alicyclic as well as aromatic. Both the categories are there in homocyclic as well as these two categories are also there in heterocyclic compound. So first we are taking in homocyclic compounds, then we will talk about heterocyclic. So like if I take this simple ring of 6 carbon, cyclohexane. So this is homocyclic alicyclic compound, right? But if I take a compound, this is again homocyclic compound because the ring is only made up of carbon atoms. But if I take this compound, this is other than carbon, 4 carbon atoms are there, 1, 2, 3, 4. One hetero atom is also present in ring. So this is termed as heterocyclic alicyclic compound because of the presence of any other atom in ring. Name of this compound is THF, tetrahydrofuran. What is this THF? Tetrahydrofuran. Clear children? So these are homocyclic compounds or heterocyclic alicyclic compound. As I told you, in both categories we have alicyclic as well as aromatic. Now coming to next, aromatic compounds. This aroma word, the meaning of aroma word in Greek language is sweet smelling compounds. So this is a special category of compounds. They have a particular order. We will discuss in detail in next unit. Here simple introduction we will be taking. Like if you remember children, camphor, a sweet order is there. Naphthalene bowls, they have their typical order. All these are aromatic compounds. Then aromatic compounds, further they are of two types, benzenoid and non-benzenoid. Benzenoid compounds means having benzene ring. Like simple benzene you can take in this case. This is benzene. If I take this compound, aniline, aniline, again containing a benzene ring, that's why also benzenoid compound. Then I can take this compound, phenol, containing benzene ring. So example of benzenoid aromatic compound. But there are many aromatic compounds which doesn't contain benzene ring. Like we can take this compound. This one, propyl. I can show this here. I will show this non-benzenoid compound here. Clear? This compound, total number of carbon 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Doesn't contain benzene ring. That's why this is termed as non-benzenoid. Name is propyl. Children, in aromatic compounds, we are also having heterocyclic. I told you in both categories, both the types are there. Aromatic also we have heterocyclic compounds which doesn't contain all carbon atoms in the ring, or you can say other than carbon like oxygen, sulfur, phosphorus atoms may be present in the ring. For example, if we take this compound, this is furan. Aromatic compound but heterocyclic aromatic, because in this aromatic one heteroatom is also present in the ring. You may take this compound, pyridine. Again heteroatom is present in the ring. So this is the classification of organic compounds. Next topic is functional group. Functional group. Remember children, did in 10th standard? What is a functional group? Atom or group of atoms which are arranged in a specific manner and responsible for chemical properties of the compound. Understood? Listen again. Atom, it can be a single atom or a group of atoms like halogen, single atom, alcohol, group of atom, carboxylic acid, group of atoms, ketone. So many are there. We will talk about all the functional groups. So here only definition. What is a functional group? Atom or group of atoms bonded in a specific manner and responsible for the chemical properties of that organic compound. This term is functional group. Clear children, meaning of functional group? Now after functional group, we will talk about homologous series. You also know about this? Homologous series. Remember what is homologous series? All members of a series are represented by same general formula. There are so many homologous series. Take one like alkane. A very simple example of homologous series. All members of alkane series we represent by the general formula. General formula of the series is CnH2n plus 2. Here n is any integer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So n can have any natural number and so on. So if we take n as 1, then the formula would be 2n plus 2, that is 4, CH4. If we substitute n as 2, then the formula would be C2H6. If we substitute at 3, then C3H8 and so on. In this way, you can write the formula for any particular number of carbon atoms. So this is first feature of a homologous series, that all members of series are represented by same general formula. And two successive members of series, they differ by CH2 group. Any two successive members of series, they differ by CH2 group in their molecular formula. And in terms of molar mass, differences of 12 plus 2, 14. In terms of molar mass, the difference is of 14U. And if we take any other homologous series like alkene, that is CnH2n. General formula for alkene, CnH2n. For alkyne, this is CnH2n minus 2. Understood, children? So in this way, there are so many homologous series, alcohol, aldehyde, ketones, carboxylic acid, that we will discuss in this unit only. But now, simply what is homologous series? I think the meaning is clear to you. All the members of the series, they are represented by same general formula. Two successive members, they differ by CH2 group. Difference in molar mass, 14U. And you will find a successive gradation in physical properties of all these compounds. So that's it, children, for this lecture. Here we talked about some very basic particulars of organic substances. From next lecture, we will be starting the rules of IUPAC nomenclature of organic compounds. Fine.